Hello, this is Kate for Dolly Mix, and I'm here with Alex from Shiny Shiny, and we are reviewing the book Perfect Girls, Starving Daughters by Courtney E. Martin. And basically this is a scary book about eating disorders. It's not exactly light reading, but it is actually a very powerful book. She describes what's inside all of us called perfect girls, and basically our generation is full of people who, girls, who are perfectionists. Basically, we go to yoga, we wake up early and go to the gym, we eat perfectly, we have good grades, we're good at our jobs. And then on the flip side, inside all of us is a girl that basically is what she describes as being borderline depressed. She describes us as dramatic, sensitive, injured easily, and that we are clinging to all kinds of attachments that in our minds we know that we should let go of. So basically, there's a sad girl inside all of us, and that's basically kind of what stems eating disorders. So what did you think of the book?
It's an interesting one, because about the first kind of 8 chapters I thought, wow, this is so good, because a lot of eating disorder books talk about, you know, when you've already got there but not why, and not the things that people have in common. She does this brilliant kind of, you feel like you're watching a documentary with a split screen, because she takes these girls from a privileged Manhattan school and girls from a sort of projects neighbourhood, and it turns out they have exactly the same body awareness issues, so it really doesn't matter what end of the demographic spectrum.
And they just sort of pass it off as, oh, this is just part of being a girl.
Yeah, they all say that. Almost everyone she talks to says, but that's just part of being a girl. It's part of being a girl to hate yourself and to think that you're not good enough. And so for about the first half of the book, I thought, well, you know, this woman's onto something. Wasn't overly keen on her writing style. It was a little bit too conversational for me, but, you know, very readable, which is great. I thought it lost its way a little bit. Because it started getting into spiritual discussions which weren't necessarily appropriate.
That Jesus saved people from eating disorders.
Which he has saved some people,
but I don't think Jesus would save me from that sort of thing.
It really depends on your religious spiritual outlook whether that bit's going to work for you.
It really does. What I liked about it is that the first part of the book discussed how your parents influence your body image and how you feel about yourself and how you feel about your relationship with food. I loved that she discussed, you know, how our moms have such a heavily, you know, so her mom was a feminist and was like, you can do whatever you want, and then instead of her thinking that I can do whatever I want, she thought, oh, I have to do everything. So I thought that was interesting, because it really did make you think about, I thought about my mom, I'm sure you thought about your mom.
Absolutely.
The only problem I had, I think, about halfway through the book is that I started feeling kind of alienated, because she talked about girls who did high school sports and went to really privileged colleges and, you know, had really good relationships with their dads and how their dads affected their body image. But I know, because we were talking about that earlier, and you said basically that you could identify with that, but then there are tons of girls like me who, you know, didn't necessarily go to college, don't have a good relationship with their dad, and didn't have to deal with the whole shock of coming in, you know, graduating from university, and then, oh, I have to serve coffee.
And in a way, that's what I wanted to hear about. It was all very well to read about girls like me, and that was great. Yeah, we went to nice schools and went to good universities and all the rest of it, but it's also quite nice to hear about, I mean, what's powerful about the first part of the book is the fact that everyone across the demographic seems to have the same kind of problems. And when you start then parceling it up, it loses its way somewhat.
Yeah.
Although she does admit in the introduction that she's very much talking about Western white girls.
Yes, yes.
And what would be interesting is marrying this with a study of perhaps different
Yeah, but she does
areas.
emphasize the fact that it's not just, you know, 18-year-old white girls that get eating disorders, that, you know, people who are African American, et cetera, it does affect them just as equally, actually. Basically, would you recommend this book to other people?
Yes, but I would recommend it to other people who perhaps already have some sort of, have done some reading around the area, or perhaps come from the demographic that she's speaking to.
Yeah.
And then you can maybe see it on a more balanced level. I think it's probably not the place to start if you're just thinking about these things for the first time, because you may get a little bit off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's like, I would recommend this book, absolutely. I think it is a very powerful book, and while the second half of the book does kind of get into, you know, the spiritual hunger that we all have, and it kind of reiterates giving more examples of girls that have eating disorders, like, you know, so-and-so wakes up in the morning and goes for a run and da-da-da. That kind of got repetitive for me, but basically, I think that if you have, you know, issues with food or issues with self-esteem, that this is quite a powerful book, because it really does make you think about stuff.
I mean, what she's saying there is the subtitle, The Frightening New Normality of Hating
Yeah,
Your Body.
no,
That's
exactly.
the scary bit that she's trying to highlight, that
Yeah.
it's just completely normal for us to think that cookies bad, pizza bad, and food is not bad or good.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
just, you know, we start putting these labels on it, and that normality of it, I think she gets across very well.
Yeah, so basically, if you are interested in things like body image and eating disorders and haven't done quite a lot of academic research into it, I definitely think that you should read this book, because I think that there are a lot of people that change your life.